Dun, and we are, looks like we're live. Excellent. Welcome, folks.
Hello, folks. Good morning.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
We are in our tie-dye today, and I just was mentioning to our esteemed guest that we are being hippy-dippy because he is nitty-gritty, you see. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest today, who is just an incredibly accomplished and accoladed musician, and his new project, which is primarily what brought us together, is called the Newsman, and it is a spoken word project, which is fascinating. He'll tell you all about it. And it's up on for your consideration for Grammy viewers and Grammy voters. So John McEuen was born in 1945, and he's a founding member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. He's a multi-instrumentalist, plays banjo, guitar, mandolin, and fiddle. And he initiated the landmark album, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, which is an absolute classic. It's in the Grammy Hall of Fame and also the Library of Congress.
Wow.
John has produced numerous award-winning projects, earning multiple Grammys, CMAs, and ACM awards. And his career spans over 11,000 concerts, and he's still on tour, and numerous television appearances. And in 2017, he was inducted into the American Banjo Museum Hall of Fame. You can find out more, of course, at johnmceuen.net. But without further ado, let's bring him on. And here he is now.
Hello. Good morning, John.
I'm tired after you
Exhausted, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Well, like I said to my mom, thanks for having me.
Oh, yes.
That's great. So like I was saying, we got lots of folks coming on from local here. Paul and Sammy's in Atlanta. Elizabeth's in Pennsylvania. Joanne's just up the street. So hi, gang. The gang's all getting here. Yep. Because this is primarily, you and I met through Janet Robin of the Incredible String Revolution. She turned me on to your fantastic new project, the Newsman, which is up for consideration for this year's Grammys. And if the folks watching look across the bottom, you'll see the page where they can listen to it and vote for it. How did the Newsman and your spoken word world all get started after so much music?
Well, I've been doing spoken word since I started playing, because since I started playing, I never could become a very good singer. I never was a singer, but I sang songs, but I sang simple, funny, or silly songs.
Mm-hmm.
But a real singer song, I could not.
Oh.
I would do spoken word. I would do things like, every time I come to town, the boys keep kicking my dog around. What's the difference if he is a hound? They got to quit kicking my dog around. And that's me at 17, 18 years old, trying to entertain people with music, with me talking. And then a few other talking things came along. Then the Mountain Whippoorwill, which is on this album.
Right.
And that became a mainstay in the show with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band for 30 years. I did the Whippoorwill, 35 years, in the middle of the Dirt Band show. And that was really fun.
That's well, one of our viewers, Robbie, just saying she sang that to her kids. So you see.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did this, and I did other talking songs, talking blues stuff. Talking blues have been around a long time.
Yeah,
sure.
Blues, whatever, a recitation. It's hard to decide what it's called, but it's like from Devil Went Down to Georgia to King Tut.
Yes.
King Tut, the Steve Martin, the Dirt Band, by the way, was the group on King Tut.
I did not know that.
Oh, really?
Quite. Yes. We were called the Tutankhamons.
Oh,
and of course, that was the. But Big Bad John.
That's right.
Yeah.
One of the cuts on this album, Fly Trouble, which was done by Luke the Drifter. Luke the Drifter was Hank Williams Sr.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Boy,
he liked to do talking songs.
Yeah.
Wow.
He liked to do them under the character Luke the Drifter. So
How interesting. Yeah.
You're spilling the tea today, my friend. That's for sure. How did you come to meet Steve Martin? What circle was unbroken to put you guys together?
We were both looking for work. We were trying to get a job at 16 years old in the magic shop in Disneyland, and hanging around the park, in the park. And I remember the day we got the job. I celebrated by having a tuna sandwich in Tomorrowland. Hooray!
Big deal. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, woo! You're right.
Woo-hoo.
I just had money to pay for the sandwich and a Coke, and I went and did it. And
Yeah.
I was ready to make the big money at the magic shop, $1.15 an hour.
Wow.
Every hour they give me $1.15.
What did the job entail? I mean, were you both auditioning as banjo players, or was it just a happenstance that you both happened to play the banjo?
We had to do magic tricks for people that wondered what they did. We demonstrated the magic tricks all day long.
Oh,
All day long, which means you do as I like to work 12-hour days. So that was one time I put in 92 hours in 1 week.
Oh, jeez.
wow, you were rolling in it. That was $100 a week.
No, 123. There was overtime.
Did you have 2 tuna sandwiches?
I celebrated by filling my car up.
Yeah, well, you couldn't do that now with $112.
Yeah.
So that was Steve and I were working in Disneyland, and the music came along a year and a half into that. And I started showing him things he could play on the banjo, and he started learning them.
Wow, he's a pretty good banjo player. He's not bad.
Oh, he's excellent.
Yeah,
He's got perfect time, and he's excellent.
Good. Yeah.
Coming from you, who's a banjo Hall of Famer, that's quite the compliment. I would suggest.
Well, his banjo album won a Grammy.
That's true.
Right. Yes.
That's true. It did.
So it must not suck. When it's weird. I did an album with banjo on it a lot, and I didn't win a Grammy, but it's okay. It was a good record, and I produced his banjo album, songs for the new songs for the 5-string banjo.
Yep. That's crazy.
Oh,
you know, John Lennon started out on the banjo. His mother, Julia, taught him to play banjo first before guitar.
So I've heard that. Yeah.
Little tiny tangential Beatles connection there for you.
Paul had to teach him his first early guitar.
Well, no, not
chords.
necessarily.
Well,
Yeah,
so it's
some of the difficult chords. I mean, John was already playing in a band when Paul met him, but some of the blue chords, you know, not your C, F, and G's and all of that stuff. Elizabeth is asking, what's your favorite magic trick? Look the way she spelled magic, naughty girl.
It depends if you like cards or certain card tricks. If you like, I should have one here, but I don't. If you like ropes, there's good rope tricks. If you like napkins, here you go. This is doing.
That's a good one. I like that.
That's not a magic trick, but it is one of the things we did.
That's funny. So how did you decide to put all the tracks for the Newsman together? How did it come together, and how did you order, which order it all goes in?
Sequencing is very important on any record.
Yeah.
And this sequence kind of laid itself out, and it was exciting to figure out what this album was, because I put it together over a 12-year period. Wow. Yeah, because it wasn't something I was going to take lightly or on the spur of a moment or anything. It was something I wanted to plan out. I'm only going to do this once, and so I'm going to do it right. And I think I did it as right as I could.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
And you like it?
I do.
It's fascinating.
I listen to it while I'm working, and I always find a new.
Wonderful.
I listen to it over and over, and I always find a new little nugget. and I start painting pictures in my head of the scenery, the places you're describing and stuff. I make my own little videos in my head when I'm listening to it. It's great. Really.
I'm going to cry. No,
Oh, well,
that's exactly what I try and mix for. I try and mix things. So you have to listen to it the third or fourth time. I didn't hear that before.
That's right.
Things come out like that.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah. Great.
Things that augment the stories. It is really, I think Cremation of Sam McGee is a good example of doing a music score right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to have the music not playing while the talking is being done.
Yeah.
In general, you can't have digga 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 on top of, and then I said, it has to be, and then I said digga digga digga. I'm gonna da and
right.
Overtones hang over, and really go through Sam McGee sometime and count the number of times
the cuts
that there's talking and then music.
Right.
Sometimes talking, and then there's a half a second space and a couple of notes, and then the sentence continues.
It's almost got to be like cutting or scoring a film, right? So
yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And thanks to Tommy Lee Jones, I was doing a score for him once, and I like the first one you sent me is good. The second one, perfect. The third one sounds like a bunch of damn Nashville elevator music. What are you going to do about that? I said, well, what is it you don't like? Well, it's too much. It's going on too much. It makes you go, gee, listen to the score. And it's whenever somebody's watching a movie and they say, wow, listen to that score, they're not watching the movie anymore.
That's right. They're losing the story. They're losing the
story. Now, there's 5 jobs in a movie.
Right.
Opening credit, closing credit, underscore, source music being a group, a guy playing the guitar in the background, a band playing at a restaurant.
Right.
And, then there's the chase music underscore, where there's action and there's stuff going on. And that's the one that the underscore is what I was after with the Newsman.
Yeah.
In general.
No, it's absolutely well. And so so that the Grammy voters, eligible voters who are watching, that it's in the spoken word category, right? Spoken word audiobook category for 2025. I know voting doesn't open until later this year, but please look across the bottom and see the URL at fyconline.com where you can go see it. So let's wind back to the beginning now of you're 16, you're working at Disneyland, you're showing Steve Martin, name dropper, stuff on the banjo. How the heck, and you've told this story 1,000 times, and I'm sorry, how did the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band come about, and where did that fabulous name come from?
Well, Les Thompson and I had started a bluegrass group that lasted about 9 months, 1964 and 5. Then I went off and played with a couple other people. And then Les, at the end of the next year, 1966, in the middle, Les called me and said, hey, come join this band I'm putting together at the music store. And the music store being McCabe's Guitar Shop in Long Beach.
Oh, in Long Beach, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Around. It wasn't bigger than this studio, but there was a coffee table and kids, us. I was the oldest. I was 20 years old.
Big deal. Yeah.
Les was, he'd made it up to 17 by now. Let's see, a couple of them were 18, one was 19. But anyway, so in 1966, August 2nd, around noon, I joined this forming group. 1 o'clock. It was 1 o'clock.
You're not one of those with one of those memories that if I say a date, you know if the Yankees won or what you had for lunch, are you?
No, but I remember a lot of things thanks to my what no.
Cool.
Well, thanks to not doing. I never did any drugs, and I never
No.
drank. And I don't like to advertise that. Although I do.
Well, why
I
not? I mean,
do it arrogantly sometimes. People are sitting around. If this is a bunch of musicians, and I've been sober for 8 years. Well, I've been sober for 11, and I go, well, I've been sober for, let me think, 78 years.
That's a record. Yeah.
That sounds arrogant or something, so I don't do it.
No, I think it's just the way some people are made, and
Nice.
it's smart because obviously you're in good shape now. You've had some health challenges recently, but you're on tour. You're up for a Grammy. You know, it's served you well. So I don't think it sounds arrogant at all.
Well, I had to be straight.
Yeah.
I became, when the Dirt Band had its first hit in 1967,
Mhm.
a little medium-sized hit, I was 21 and I became the road manager.
Oh my God.
Somebody had to get the car. I was the only one old enough to rent a car.
Oh,
Correct.
yes.
So, and then if I rented it, I had to drive it somewhere.
Yeah.
And I had to know where to drive it and where
Yep.
the hotel was, and you
Yeah.
know,
That's wild.
it just grew from there.
You were telling me a fantastic story the other day about when you had to charter a flight from A to B. And speaking of alcohol, what did the pilot do? Where were you flying from? What happened?
If that's the flight where the pilot was carrying a 6-pack and says, "Who wants a beer?"
Yep.
Oh,
We were going from St. Louis to Fayetteville, Arkansas.
And that should be what, about an hour?
About an hour and 10 minutes. It took 5 hours.
What? Okay,
So we
pray
was
tell.
flying around thunderstorms. Another
man.
thunderstorm. There's a constant lightning going on outside of the plane. The
Oh,
last hour of the trip. We're all up there. We're all there singing, "Will the circle be unbroken?" You know.
God.
my goodness. And so you flew into Fayetteville successfully, obviously, because you're here to tell the tale.
Yeah, and the pilot comes on talking to the tower. Tower, we're coming in to land. And the tower says, "There's a Frontier flight on the tarmac right now that has takeoff priority. Well, you tell him to get out of the way. I'm bringing this thing in. We're almost out of gas."
Almost out of gas.
boy.
Oh, man. Oh, dear. Well, you know, rock stars and small planes, never a good combo, right?
No.
Jeez,
There
Louise.
was another time we're flying over Harlem in a plane that I chartered to take up to Toronto to do the Ian and Sylvia TV show.
Yep.
And we were ahead of a storm the whole way. It was like and the plane was rattling, and why are these seats so loose? Oh, this is usually a coffin hauler.
Oh, how lovely.
The seats come out.
The seats
Oh,
come out
great.
to all coffins. Oh, geez.
Oh,
So
lovely.
we get the coffin hauler up to Toronto. We do the TV show, and we pile in, and we fly back to LaGuardia Airport, and the guy's coming in, and the tower comes on. Cessna 51112, get out of the way. There's a 727 on your tail. It has landing priority. Cessna 527, get out of the way. And one of the guys in the band says to the pilot, "Isn't that your tail letters, Cessna 5?" Whatever he said. But yeah, get out of the way. And it's like, here's his little plane is going along, and he's going like, along comes this.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
dove right in time. He dove right over Harlem. I'm looking right at Harlem going, oh no, I'm
Oh,
gonna fly in Harlem.
oh, my goodness me. Robbie's just saying, yeah, great. Now you tell me. Thanks
Yeah.
for the heads up on the 747.
Yeah, and anybody who's flying today.
Golly.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Anyway,
It's all in service of music, babe. You made millions of people happy,
Yeah.
and you still do, which is fantastic.
I was very interested to read that, you're quite a prolific author as well as a musician. I mean, who has the time to do both? But you've obviously done it from way back, haven't you? Tell us about your books.
I like doing all parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
I even like it. And it doesn't even bother me when my guitar doesn't make it.
Oh, really?
If I'm on Delta, it'll show up.
Yeah, I don't think.
And it'll show up on time.
Yeah.
I've flown 2 million miles, 3 million on Delta. And last year they gave me a little plaque a little statue about this big.
Ah,
Right.
yeah.
It says, "Welcome to the 2 million miler club."
Oh,
Right.
Well, it's been more like 3, but
I was interested in what about The Life I've Picked?
that's a fun book that I wrote. It took me about 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not very fast sometimes.
Mm.
But I had a bunch of stories, a stack of stories.
Yes, I'm sure.
Here's the stories of Leon Russell. Here's the stories of Mickey Mouse. Here's the story. And I had them all.
Yeah.
Steve Martin, being a lifelong friend, he helped me a lot here. He said, "You've got a book here, but it's not a book.
Yeah.
It's a connection story. I get lost on the timeline. It jumps back and forth.
Yes.
Put it in a timeline so I can follow along." And so I did. And he said, "You ought to edit out the part about Little Rock Connie, where Little Rock Connie comes backstage and says," I had her do this instead of what I had said in the book. She went just, "Nice, aren't they?"
Surprise.
No, she just said, "Nice, aren't they?" But she said, "Nice, blank, aren't they?"
Oh, I see.
And I filled in the blank.
Now.
You shouldn't say that. That's going to turn people off.
Oh no, I think it'd turn them on.
I think that's
but for her to just go, "Nice, aren't they?" and then put my hand on one of them, it's like, Little Rock Connie was quite an act.
Was she?
Sounds like.
She was last night in Little Rock. We were doing our act. Connie had the whole band. It's a natural fact.
Oh, see.
She was the world.
Where she is now.
She's dead. She died.
Oh,
did she?
With a smile on her face, I bet.
Yeah.
Smile on a lot of faces. She wanted
She wasn't part of the Plasticasters, was she?
She got into Esquire magazine though.
Okay. That's wild.
I don't remember her last name, but anyway.
Little Rock Connie, I will have to go and look her up. That's for dang sure.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. So did you always get along? Actually, Charlie, our friend in Florida, is asking, how did you like working with Michael Martin Murphey?
Murphy was a great guy, a good songwriter, and good guitar ideas, good lyricist and melody guy. He was great to work with, but before the Dirt Band, I was in a group with Michael Martin Murphey, and there were 4 of us. As him and his buddy from Texas, who was also from Texas, and me and another guy, and they called it the Texas Twosome.
Yes.
And it was a 40s.
So that only lasted about 6 months, and finally, I'm part of the Texas Twosome. Oh, who's the other guy? Oh no, there's 3 other guys.
The other 3.
Oh, how lovely.
Oh well, thank God he wasn't a math teacher.
And anyway, I played on 4 of his albums, and that was really fun.
Cool. Sammy, who does all things for Edgar Winter digitally online, she's based out of Atlanta. She's just looked it up, and Connie Hamzy was her name. Little Rock Connie was Connie Hamzy for those who care to know.
Connie Hamzy. Okay.
So now we know. Hey, did you always get along? How was the relationship with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band? I mean, you guys lived on a bus, on a plane, and you were practically, it's like a marriage, isn't it? When you when you're with a band. I mean, a non, you know, a platonic marriage, let's just say. But there must have been days when you just want to strangle each other. Or weeks or months.
It's gone very quiet. Have you noticed?
There was a time in the last year or two, about 2 a.m. on the bus, we're going down the road, and I said to one of the guys, you know, it's funny how there's certain things we can't talk about, isn't it?
Oh.
And he goes, yeah. And that neither one of us will bring them up, right? No. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, good night.
That's wild. So you would have really differing opinions about certain things, but still be able to just go and make this great music. I think that's remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it differently if I had it to do over again.
Would you?
I would make some different changes. I'd say either we do this or I'm out of here.
I see. Okay.
And do that more. I stand for my own. I was in the position of road manager, and my brother's managing the group and produce the records. And I felt like they can only take so much of the direction from anyway, because it was a democratic organization.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I just got outvoted 3-1.
Well, you know, that's how the Beatles run Apple. It's an absolute. It has to be a 4-0, or you know, of all in, or it doesn't happen. So some companies work like that, and some have a quorum and what have you. But it's got to be difficult when you're also sleeping on a bus and you know checking in and out of motels. You see each other every damn day around the clock, don't you?
It depends. One of the guys was bipolar. It depended on which one was up.
Oh dear.
He was tripolar, actually. He had 3 personalities.
Oh my goodness.
So it's either like, hey, good morning, mm-hmm. or how you doing today? Hey, did you want to go? Let's go on. Yeah, there's a guy over here that plays. You know, he's like Mr. And the other one was like, hey,
God, how awful.
and it was like you could never know which one was up.
Right, which one you were going to get.
So you saw him in the morning.
Wow.
Oh, then there was a 4th one.
Oh, wow. Oh, just dead silent, just quiet. Oh, boy. That's hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been in a relationship like that. And it's just, they just shut down and you're like, was it something I said? Do I need a shower? What's going on?
When did you kill him?
Huh?
When did you kill him?
No, I didn't.
No, not quite.
He's happily living across the other side of the world. He's fine.
Oh, good.
No, we're still friends, but I just couldn't. He would just shut down for like weeks and then come back on like a light switch, like nothing had ever happened, you know, and just not talk about it. So I feel your pain with that one. That's
Well,
great.
it was only pain because this stuff, drugs got in the way of getting the job done on the road.
Yeah.
I see.
The only reason, there were times that I said, look, the only reason I'm out here is to play as good as I possibly can and do as good within this small framework of talent that I have, or abilities, to use it to the most ability.
Right.
Yeah.
And anything that gets in the way of that, it's not good.
No.
And you being drunk is ruining that. You being high is, you know,
Right.
There were times that happened. There were many times that happened and it wasn't talked about. It just went.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
I existed in my own little space in the band often.
Right.
And I was the one that was running around a lot because the drummer was positioned and the piano player was, and the bass player didn't move.
Right.
And the guitar player rarely moved. And I had freedom to move. So
Right.
I did.
So when did that all take its final bow? And how, you know, was it amicable or did it just fall apart in the end? Because I always find the end of a band story just fascinating. Did it peter out or did it?
It was interesting. the final show was in Fargo, North Dakota, I think.
Uh-huh.
And my son had flown out because I told him, I'm doing my last show with the Dirt Band. They don't know it yet.
Oh, I see. So you knew it, but they
I
didn't.
want you to come out here and film it with a couple of your cameras. He had these GoPro cameras, and he's really good at this kind of thing. And
Uh-huh.
he set them up in the concert hall. And the road manager came around a couple hours later and said, the band doesn't want you filming. The band doesn't want, well, I want to film it.
Yeah.
And, well, they're not going to allow it. They are not going to allow it. Well, I might have them just shoot me then.
Right.
I mean, film me. Because I want something my grandkids can look at and see.
Yes,
Of course.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Good
But
grief.
it was the same. So that was a pretty dark night. And the band came on, they played, and then they got on the bus and left as quick as they could.
Wow.
And I was in a rental car, and I went to my hotel and flew home.
That
But
was,
they were chicken.
yeah.
But, you know, I've never said this to anyone about anyone, but you were asking.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
10 years, 10 years later, or whatever it was, doing the 50th year thing at the Country Music Hall of Fame,
Right.
I thought it should be filmed.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The guy was arranging. He had another photographer, him. He was going to take care of the permits, did everything. And I argued with their manager. It's going to take permits. I know, but Stuart will get the permits. He's done this before. It's going to take blah, blah, blah. I know, that's going to be handled. It's going to, you know, it's like, look.
Yeah.
I don't know what your language this thing
That's
is.
fine. That's fine.
No level.
Well, okay, anyway, I wanted to say, look, asshole. But,
Yeah.
you know, I have made music videos. I made a TV special that I produced, that I shot. I've done things. I've produced other people's albums. I've hired people. I hired Leon Russell 4 times. You know, it's like, this is easy.
Yeah.
Having a guy walk around with a couple cameras on the 50th anniversary of the Circle Be Unbroken album, and all the people were no video.
Oh, good God.
Oh,
So
God.
that manager is now selling snowmobiles in Wisconsin.
Oh, good. Good.
Well, good on him. Yeah.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. But
I don't know why this is ringing. I'm sorry.
Quite all right. That's crazy. I mean, it's so short-sighted from a digital legacy standpoint.
oh, yeah.
You know?
Yes, it was the last thing. This was a reunion.
Yes.
A reunion thing for the Circle Be Unbroken album, which
Yes,
was
yes.
50 years old.
Yeah.
We had special people sitting in, and it was just short-sighted.
Very odd.
That really is. So
Yeah.
that's a shame. That's a shame.
It was discouraging.
Oh, at least, to say the
Discouraging.
least.
Yes, I would put a couple of F words in front of that, probably myself, but you know, that's just me. Can't you can take a girl out of Liverpool, but you can't take the Scouse out of the girl, you know. So I guess it's been much easier, obviously, being a solo artist and author, and you are just in charge of your own destiny, right? You can do what you want when you want, and you don't have to deal with all this other crap.
Yeah, pretty much. It's yeah. If it's something sucks, it's my fault.
That's
That's
right.
funny. So I'm just looking at your website here too, and you're coming up in August. You're going to be in Durham, North Carolina, Black Mountain,
Yeah,
Pelham,
it's the day after tomorrow.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pelham, Tennessee, Berthoud, Colorado. Don't know how to pronounce that.
I've birthed.
Berthoud, okay.
Yeah.
Berryville, Virginia, Hot
Those
Springs,
dates in North Carolina and Tennessee, I'm going to have Danny Nicely and Brian McDonald with me, along with Les Thompson.
Oh, great.
Les Thompson, the original bass player. He and I have been playing together for about 8 years.
Wow, that's fantastic. And so Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, Duluth, Georgia, Nashville, Tennessee, Minnesota, Wisconsin. You could buy, I know a guy up there who could sell you a snowmobile. when you're in Green Lake. Bartlett, Franklin, and Livermore, California. So
Wow.
you are all over the shop, my friend.
Oh,
That's
Livermore's back in?
Yeah, well, it's on your website right now. It says next year, May 16th, 25,
Okay, fine.
the almost famous wine festival in Livermore, California.
Yeah.
So all the way through next year. That's great.
It is.
Do you have a special regimen or diet or thing you do for stamina? I mean, you just admitted to being 78. How the hell do you get it all done?
What?
Don't wind me up now. I know you in the meantime.
Did you hear the bell for the fruit cup?
The bell for the fruit cup. No, but I've got some room temperature apple juice I can sell you.
I don't know. I never did drugs, and I've said that before, and I usually don't say it, and I don't drink, and I can't understand why people pour alcohol in them when something that'll run a car, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I'm still going, and I'm nearly 95.
What, you run on alcohol?
She runs on, but it's non-alcoholic wine. You see, that's the secret. Everybody thinks we're knocking it back at 11 in the morning, but it's this FRE. It's called. It's alcohol removed Chardonnay, but it just looks festive, you know.
We pretend we're, yeah.
You don't look a day over 94.
Thank you very much.
Would have been her sister's 100th birthday.
Yeah,
today.
my sister was born 100 years ago today. She's gone. She's already gone, but I'm not going. I'm having far too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And writing books, and also going in the poetry spoken word category with her Limerick book. So
yeah,
I'm building pages for both you guys this year on fyconline.com.
Oh, great.
Fantastic. Well, this has been Debbie's just saying, so smart, no alcohol or drugs. Everybody agrees. So that's your secret, and you just keep breathing, I guess.
That helps. Yeah.
I'll tell you what else helps, John, a good sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
And you've obviously got one of those.
Oh, well, that really cracks me up.
Oh, good. I'm pleased to see.
Well, anybody who'd fly in a small plane twice with the same band and expect a different outcome, you have to have a good sense
and a
of
pilot that said, anyone want a beer before you take off?
Yeah. Oh, my Lord.
Oh,
seriously, that pilot showed up with a 6-pack of beer? You're not winding me up? Oh, my Lord.
Oh, I'll just get the bus.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the bus.
I'll walk from here. Thank you very much.
Oh, my God.
That's wild. Well, as our regular audience will know, every week we honor our special guest on TeaFlix with their very own limerick, because she is the Limerick lady. And we've obviously gone for the cheap laughs today with the rhyming. Limerick time. Yes, Sammy, it is indeed Limerick time. Elizabeth, all of you guys. So if you are ready, you are about to be limericked. You ready?
Yes.
And a 1, 2, 3. Today's guest was ever so witty, and not at all nitty or gritty. So thanks for the fun. Now our TeaFlix is done, and we'd like to say thanks. Oh, so pretty. So there you are.
Thank you, John. It was lovely.
It was absolutely wonderful. And best of luck with the Newsman for your spoken word Grammy 2025 entry. And all of our people who are Grammy voters, head on over to fyconline.com and you'll see him right on the front page, and also johnmceuen.net, which you'll see all of his gigs all the way through May 25 of next year. We'll have to try and get to one. So everybody...
There's a bunch of people saying thank you for their blah, blah, blah in my life, and thank you for this. If you like things that I've done, go check out my book, The Life I've Picked. And it really tells an interesting path of a guy that went from being a nerd to being a dork to being a student. I mean, I can't believe sometimes when we actually had Sonny Moore and his roustabouts open for us. It's a man with 17 dogs. Wow. 17 dogs barking and stuff. We've had the Flying Barracinis open for the Dirt Band.
Wow.
The only tumbling act that could do a 3.5 gainer off the springboard, only you saw 1.5, and the other 2.5 were up, and the flies, the curtains were in front. It was like this. It was like this. Here he goes. What? You know, it was like, anyway.
Oh, that's
We
wild.
followed the driving horse.
Followed a horse. That's funny. Well, you know, it's when pantomime comes around in England, Christmas time, we always, you know, and obviously it's people who play the animals, and we always just say, "Hey, we've been cast as the horse in this year's pantomime. I'll be the front, and you be yourself." So yes, Debbie, you can get John's books at johnmcEuen.net. Click on the books page, all of his fabulous stuff. And I love the title, The Life I Picked, because
Thank you.
I see what you did there.
See what I did there?
I see what you did
I
there.
see
Very
what-
good.
yeah.
I didn't see it. I had 3 pages of titles, all written out over a period of a couple years.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. I'll try that one when I get to title it. And then the night before I turned in the manuscript for printing, the final night, I said to my wife, I've got to go downstairs to the studio and come up for the stupid title for this life I've picked.
Cool. Well,
Wait a minute. For the life.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
By George, he's got
I've got it. I've got it.
hi, George. Well, Sammy's just ordered one. She can't wait to read it. So there you go.
good.
Fabulous. All right, my darling. Well, thank you so much for spending time. I know you're doing back-to-back interviews for your tour dates and your FYC Grammy Spoken Word World. And thanks to Scott Sexton for putting us all together. And thanks to Janet Robin from the Grammy-winning String Revolution for introducing us.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Janet Robin.
Absolutely. And we will see you on the road, or we'll see you all of a sudden.
Okay. God
See
bless.
me what?
All of a sudden.
Oh.
That's a Liverpool one. All right, kids. We'll see you next
week.
Tuesday.
Okay.
All right, kids. We'll see you
Bye-bye.
soon.